The Adventures of Tom Sawyer by Mark Twain. Longman Simplified English Series. Read by Miss Metavi Simmons. Chapter 14. The Storm. About midnight, Joe awoke and called the boy. There was a weighty stillness in the air that seemed to threaten something. The boy showed the friendly companionship of the fire in spite of the dead heat of the breathless air. They sat still and expectant. Beyond the light of the fire, everything was swallowed up in the blackness. Presently, a vague flash of lightning dimly lit the trees off a moment and vanished. Another came, a little stronger. Then another, then a faint moan came, sighing through the branches, and the boys blamed. Sorry, and the boy trembled, fancying that some spirit of the night had gone by. There was a pause now, a terrible flash turned night into day, and showed separated and distinct every little grass blade that grew about their feet. It showed three white, star, startled face to a deep roll of thunder went crashing across the sky and lost itself in the distance. A cold breeze sprang up. It shook all the leaves and scattered ash about the fire. Another fierce flashlight lit up the forest, and a crash followed that seemed to tear the tree tops right over the boy's head. They held on to each other in terror in the thick gloom that followed. A few big raindrops fell upon the leaf. "Quick, boy! Go for the end!" exclaimed Tom. They leapt away, stumbling over root of the dark, each dashing in a different direction. A furious wind, a, a furious wind rushed through the tree, making everything sing as it went. One blinding flash after another came, and row upon row of deafening thunder, and now the rain poured down. The rising wind drove it inches along the ground. The boys cried out to each other, but the howling wind and the rolling thunder drowned their voice until, however, one by one they staggered in at last and took shelter under the tent. The tent coiled about so furiously that they could not talk, even if the other noise had allowed them. The storm rose higher and higher, and presently the sail tore loose from its is fascinating, and went flying away on the wind. The boys seized each other's hands and fled. With many stumbling and rushing to the shelter of a great oak that stood upon the river bank. Now the battle was at its highest. Under the curseless flashes that flamed the sky, everything below the bending trees, the river white with foam, the dim outlines of the cliff. On the other side, see through the racing clouds, and the veil of rain stood out in clean cut and shadows laid distanced from time to time. Some gained tree yielded in the fight and fell, crashing through the younger growth. The thunder came now. The thunder came now, in ear splitting, exploding burst, pitilessly keen and unspeakable, awful. The storm ended with one gigantic effort that seemed likely to tear the island to pieces, burn it up, drown it to the tree tops, blow it away, and defend every creature in it, all at one and the same moment. It was a wild night for homeless young heads to be out in, but at last the battle was over, and the force of nature retired with bigger and bigger trees, and peace returned. The boys went back to camp a good deal awake, but they found that there was still something to be thankful for, because the great tree, which had been the shelter of their beds, was a rain now, split by the lightning. Everything in the camp was wet through. The campfire as well. Here was a disaster, for they were wet to the skin and shivering. However, they discovered that the fire had eaten so far up the great log engine, which it had been built, that a few inches had escaped wetting. They pantily break at it with leaf and bark gathered from the underside of sheltered log until they persuade it to burn again. Then they peel on great dead branches till they had a rolling bliss. They dried their food, they, they, they dried their food and had a feast. A feast. After that, they sat by the fire and glorified their midnight adventure until morning, for there was not a dry spot to sleep on anywhere around. As the sun grew stronger, the boy felt sleep, and they went out on the sandbar and lay down. They were soon burned out by the sun, and wearily began to prepare breakfast. After the meal, they felt stiff, joined, and a little homesick. Nice more. Tom saw the sign, the scenes and tried to cheer up the pirate as well as he could, but they cared nothing for marbles or circles, or but they care nothing for marble or circus or swimming or anything. He pros he proposed that they should stop being pirate for a time and be red Indian for a change. They were attracted by this idea. It was not long before they were split, stripped and stripped from head to heel with black mud and all the them all of them chief, of course, and then they went dashing through the woods to attack an English settlement. Afterward, they separated into three rival tribes and sprang out upon each other from hiding places with dreadful war cry and kill and skin each other by thousands. It was a bloody day, and therefore was a satisfactory one. They assembled in camp toward supper time, hungry and happy, but now a difficulty arose. Indian tribes at war with each other could not break bread together without first making peace, and this was simply an impossibility without smoking a pipe for peace. Two of the red skin almost wished that they had remained pirates. However, there was no other way. So, with as much cheerfulness as they could pretend, they called for the tithe and took the pipe and took their puff. As is passed with proper ceremony, they were glad that they had become red-skinned, for they found that they could now smoke a little without having to go and hunt for a lost knife. They did not get sick enough to be seriously comfortable. They practiced cautiously. After supper, with fair success, and so they spent a joyful evening.